first grade. I hope everyone is having a great day. Today we're going to spend a little more time reviewing, and today we're going to talk about measurement. And if you remember several weeks ago, we did some activities on measurement, and we used what was called non-standard units of measurement. So things like a cube or a paper clip or even a Cheerio. We use those sorts of things to measure. We're going to read a text today that's going to talk about what are called standard units of measurement. And if you've ever heard your grown-ups talking about measuring something, maybe, how big the couch is to fit in a certain space in the room, you might have heard some of these words before, like inches, feet, centimeters, miles. These are different words related to measurement, and these are all what we call standard units of measurement. And this is something that you'll spend some more time learning about next year and beyond. So this is more of a preview and just to kind of give you a little bit more information about measurement. And like I said, this is more of a preview of some of the other things that you'll learn related to measurement as you continue on. Lengthy questions. Do you like to ask questions? Who is taller? Who has longer feet? Who has the shortest pet? How can you find the answers? By measuring length. There's lots of real life examples and times and reasons where we need to use measurement. So just kind of pay attention and see if, anything's going on at home that you notice where someone has to measure something, and just kind of think about it and pay attention and see if you notice. Most girls do not grow any taller after they are 14 or 15 years old. Real feet for feet. Before people had standard tools for measuring, they used body parts. They might use a hand, an arm, or a foot. So this is what we were talking about between non-standard units of measurement versus standard units of measurement. And here's a little experiment. If you want to give it a try, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can give it a try. It says, how long is your foot? Trace it out on a piece of paper. Then cut out the tracing. Compare your tracing to a friend's. Or maybe you can compare it to a grown-up's or a brother or sister. An arm's length. Long ago, Egyptians measured with units called cubits. This is the distance from the elbow to the tip of the middle finger of a grown man. Now you can see where this might be a bit of a problem because different people are different sizes. So if you were trying to compare, and measure something, but if, two different arms were two different lengths, it would be hard to know, which was longer, what the correct measurement was. It says the average shoe size of an 8-year-old in the United States is size 3. Okay, now stand next to a wall. Ask your friend or grown-up or sibling to measure your height with the tracing of your foot. How many feet tall are you? Then measure your height with your friend or sibling's foot tracing. Did you get different answers with different tracings? Feet and other body parts come in different sizes. People saw they needed one standard unit. In Rome, a grown man's foot was chosen as the standard. A stick 1 foot long became the unit of measure. So I know it can be a little confusing because we say feet like the feet that we have on our legs versus a foot or feet when we talk about measurement. Smaller parts. A ruler is a good tool for measuring your height. But what if you're measuring something small, like a tiny dog? Then you need a smaller measuring unit. Romans divided the foot into 12 equal parts called inches. With a ruler marked in inches, you can tell which pup is shorter and by how much. Let's say your dog is 25 inches tall. A friend's dog is 10 inches tall. Your dog is 15 inches taller than your friend's pup. 25 inches minus 10 inches is 15 inches. You probably have heard the word inches before. It says French bulldogs can grow to be 12 inches, 30 centimeters tall. Chihuahuas can grow to be 9 inches or 23 centimeters tall. And we'll hear a little bit more about centimeters in just a moment. Most rulers and tape measures show feet, inches, meters, and centimeters. Feet or meters? People in the United States use the US customary system. This means they use feet and inches to measure, but most of the world uses the metric system. In this system, the basic unit is the meter. 1 meter is a little more than 3 feet long. A meter can be divided evenly into 10 decimeters or 100 centimeters. So centimeters and inches are part of two different systems. So you wouldn't really use them together. We can compare them, but they're not part of the same system of measurement. But here in the United States, we use inches and feet. Miles to go. Sometimes you need to measure long distances, such as a football field. You can use yards instead of feet. 1 yard equals 3 feet in length. A football player who runs from goal to goal runs 100 yards, or 91.4 meters. What about something even longer? Would you say it is 5,280 feet to the park? No way. For really long distances, you can use miles. 1 mile is 5,280 feet. In the metric system, kilometers are used. 1 mile is just over 1.6 kilometers. So again, these are two different systems, but it just depends. You can compare them and say that a mile is a little bit over 1.6 kilometers, but it's two different systems. Some football players run about 1.25 miles or 2 kilometers in a game. Not so straight. Not everything you measure is a straight line. How do you measure things that are crooked? Something curvy can be measured with a string. Then hold the string up to a ruler. You can also use a measuring tape that bends easily. A measuring tape is useful for round things, such as a tree trunk. A giant redwood may measure more than 90 feet around, or 27.4 meters. That's really big. Around and around. How big is your backpack? Wrap a string around it, then measure the string for the answer. Adults have longer legs than children. It will take a child more steps to walk the same amount as an adult. Guesswork. What if you don't have a measuring tool, like a ruler or a yardstick or a measuring tape? You can estimate or make a good guess. To guess a short length, try using a fingertip for a 1/2 inch. So every fingertip would be about a 1/2 of an inch. So say licorice that is 10 fingertips long could be about 5 inches of a tasty treat. To guess a far distance, count your steps. Roman said 1,000 steps by a grown man is 1 mile. But for you, it'll be a little more. Count your steps from your home to your best friend's. How far away is her home? Now, since maybe we can't do that right now, maybe you could estimate and say how far it would be to walk on your driveway, or maybe even walk across from one side of a room to another and take an estimate of how many steps it would take you, and then actually do it and see how close you were. If you want, just for something to try if you would like. Next, use a tool to check your estimates. Were you a good guesser, or did you miss by a mile? Measure it out. Confused by all the different units? Here's a table to help you keep them straight. And again, the first 3 in the list are part of the US customary system, the standard units of measurement that we use in the United States. And then the last two are part of the metric system, which the rest of the world uses the metric system. You can just see that 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. So that would be a ruler. So if you can think of what a ruler looks like. Rulers are important tools at school. They are used in math, science, and art classes. Measuring mania. Now you can answer questions by measuring. You can tell in inches or centimeters who is taller, whose feet are longer, and who has the shortest pet. What other questions can you answer? Grab your ruler and start measuring. Do the math. Make sure you keep track of units when doing measurement math. You can only add numbers that have the same units. Inches go with inches, meters go with meters, and so on. So when you're comparing or measuring things, you would either do it, all in inches or all in feet or all in centimeters. They wouldn't mix you wouldn't mix them together. Okay, so that was, like I said, a little bit of a preview about standard units of measurement. And I know that was a lot of new words that maybe you haven't heard before, or maybe you've just heard, but you're not sure what they mean. So you'll learn a lot more about this as you continue on in school. But just wanted to give you a little preview. And there is just a short seesaw activity where you're going to just, you'll see measure on the screen using cubes, which would be a non-standard unit of measurement, to measure a few pictures of items on a seesaw activity. So once you submit that, you're all set for math, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.